Hi everyone. It's a bit late. I'm going to be too quick. As quick as those from Youth Cafe. They have been too quick. So today, I think for me, I had no interest even knowing about that these regional youth structures are there. Not until I applied for this project. And we are trying to implement it at a regional level. That's when I started saying, there are structures at the East African level. Why is it that we don't know them about these structures? When I can even ask a question here that is there anyone of us who knows where the structures of East African Parliament are? And the Parliament is in East Africa. I think one or two could tell me that. Yeah, we don't know. So in 2009, I think the member states in East Africa sat in Arusha, and they decided to come up with these structures. But in terms of how can young people take up leadership at a regional level. So they came up as member states, and you know all countries in East Africa. We have Rwanda, we have Kenya, Uganda, Burundi, Congo, Somalia recently joined. So we are like 6 countries. But normally whenever I talk about East African structure, it's basically Tanzania, Kenya, Uganda. So I don't know whether other member states they are not bothered or interested in it, yet they have these structures. So basically in 2019, 2009, that's when they came up with the East African youth policy that stipulates clearly under Article 4, Article 5, Article 6 about how they want to promote youth participation. Substantive one, by the way. That's how they came up with that idea. But also the other idea was, how can young people at a regional level have their voice captured and heard? That's why I was trying to want to change Uganda, but you cannot change Uganda without learning from how young people in Kenya, how young people in Burundi, how young people in Somalia are doing things. So when I go deeper into research and know that these structures exist, they have even the speaker, they have even everything. I said, why can't we make these things, young people to know them about these stuff? Because they can help us. They can bind us together. We can literally sit and say that we're electing leaders that we know. So basically, we've just come to really to understand the structures. How was it structured? Such that maybe in most cases we can even find gaps. It can give us one of the ground for us to start advocating for a change maybe in it. But my specific interest would be to go through these. There are some articles I wanted us to go through for this East African structure. When you read Article 4, it talks about youth representation, substantive participation, by the way. So if we can ask ourselves in this building, is at a regional level, are we substantively participating in issues affecting the region? Ideally, I suggest that we are not. Then Article 5 talks about gender equality, youth and gender equality. It is, I've tried to interact with committee members there, but I don't see anyone from the marginalized community. Say someone with disability, you know, those nitty-gritties, they are not there. And it has been basically male-dominated since the speakership, because now the speakership is like the president is like the overall, it's the one that shares everything. You know, so those are questions that we could ask ourselves and interest ourselves to go and look through it. It's like, so basically, as I said, it was instituted in 2009 under the East African Legislative Assembly. I think each member state represents at the East African Parliament. Where is the East African Parliament located? Arusha. So all member states elect. In Uganda, we also elect the government sends representative and the opposition. I think it's the same thing with Kenya, Uganda, and Rwanda. So they suggested that we should have an arm of young people that is working under the East African Legislative Assembly. So they suggested that it should be a platform for engagement of young people, leadership, promoting leadership and youth representation at a regional level. Now that's right. So these are the key structures of the East African Youth Parliament. Of course, it has the speaker, presides over the assembly sessions, and ensures everything. So those are just the structures of it. The deputy speaker, the clerk of the assembly, another slide. So those are now the structures. The committee chairpersons, these are, they have specific committees, the technical one and the bit. So they have youth, gender and social development, education and skills development, peace and security, trade. I was looking at number 3, peace and security, and also looking at the role of young people to make sure that the region is stable. And looking at what's happening in our countries, Congo, where I said, where is the voice of young people? Yet we have even a policy, we have paper, but young people, we are nowhere. So why can't we also start these conversations in the region? Trade and employment. Why can't we advocate for free trade, cross-border, environment and climate? So those are specific committees. That's right. Then youth representatives, members of the youth assembly. These are delegates elected from countries, of course. They represent national youth interest per each country. You see, each country has national youth councils. So when these delegates are voted to come to the East African Parliament, they represent the interest. They debate motions, participate in committee work. Literally, few of us have actually known how even this the East African youth structure work. Maybe sit. We don't have that information. They sit annually, 2 times a year, but none of us know. So this is the information we should know. Then there is the national youth delegation. So they say each East African country sends a delegation of youth selected through national mechanisms. That's why I say that each country, in Uganda we have the National Youth Council, we have all the structures of the youth. That's where these young people come from that goes to East Africa. Another one? So those are structures. The Advisory Council, it is composed of East African official ministers, society actors. So this is where Faraja comes in. Faraja in Uganda is too active and is the one taking over, like managing issues to do with selecting delegates, because the law said it is the representatives are voted through the civil society. So Faraja comes in, it organizes the national parliament, the local parliament, at regional parliament. That's why they select these people that comes. I know the context of Kenya, how do those people are really selected? Can we have any participants on that? Tell us how. In Uganda, it's Faraja is running it. It organizes regional parliaments, east, west. So after that, they have a national parliament where they discuss. Then throughout that process, they send delegates. They choose delegates to come and represent us at the East African Parliament. I don't know how Kenya does it. Anyone who have any information about how you select these members?
I do. I'm from the civil society, and how they elect like members to go to the advisory council is we use, maybe they leverage on the Google Forms, ask questions pertaining the specific advisory council that they want. Yeah, I know of someone who sits on the UNFPA Youth Advisory Council. So the way they were elected was through the using of the Google Forms and also getting references from people who know their capabilities maybe, and if they're able to amplify the voices of the young people from their communities. Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing. It's very, it's very few, and I'm too surprised that you actually could have that idea and that information. Because I've interacted with young people in Rwanda, in Kenya, but I don't know what's happening at the region. Yet these are the structures that could amplify our voices. Then there is the secretariat. These are I think they run day-to-day, another slide, business of the council. So basically that's how the structure is. We have the speaker, the clerk, the teacher person, the member. As a project, we are right now, we are implementing it for second year. So what we want to do, because throughout the first year of the project, we recognized and discovered that, of course, when it comes to representation, it is disproportional, where you find women are not dominating spaces, people with disability, the marginalized. And on every position you are finding male dominating. We need all genders to occupy such spaces. I have interacted with, as a project, we've been, last year I think, we've been working with the Speaker of the East African Parliament, that was from Uganda,
Currently, we are also building contacts with the current speaker, who is from South Sudan. So I think Kenya had the speaker, but I don't know which year. So it rotates. If this year it has been in Uganda, it has to rotate to other countries. So probably maybe Kenya could take it over after this. It's a 1-year term for speakership. It's a 1 year. Then it rotates to Rwanda, to Burundi. That's how it rotates. So right now what we are doing is identifying committee members, identifying clerk members that are sitting on the committee side, that we can see how we can have conversations and engagement and supporting them. Right now we are supporting committees. They are developing some papers, and it's one of the conversations we are having with them, because they still lack fund. They are funded by Faraja and European Union, but the fund is still limited. So something we are still working to work with them to see how we can better do that. Another side. So this is our election process. Is an eligibility. Of course, it's 1835. We must be a citizen of East Africa. Candidates often come from. So that's basically how she have been explaining. That's how the process always is. Okay. Yeah. So basically that's it. But I wanted to give some key policies. If you are interested in it, you can go and look out and read. You know, it's better we as people from CSOs, we talk from informed part of view. We are talking about policies at East African level. Could you cite some articles? So you can go and read those. They are there online. East African Community Youth Policy adopted, the National Youth Policy of Uganda, Kenya, Tanzania, Rwanda. Those are the key I try to manage to get online. But I believe all countries, I think even Somalia has, you can go there and try to check. So basically that's how the structure is. But giving a context of Uganda, we have structures that are active working, but they are not substantive. Like we have young people at all spaces, we have youth MPs, we have everything. But these affirmative actions and positions are not really giving out the fruits that we expect. They pass a bill in parliament that affects young people, and MPs don't issue out even any statement. So I think also as we read through, we have to make sure that these affirmative action in our specific countries are substantive enough, and they bear results. They represent the interest of young people. So I end on that because of time, and I also request that if you have a question, maybe you ask after maybe I've gone through the question paper like for 8 minutes. Yeah, because I want Linda to be capturing as we wind up. Then I request Selina, please come and help me out. Wow. Be a co-facilitator. Just read for me the issues that young people raised yesterday. We are better in the position paper. We are many, but one of the key things that came out was young people suggesting that we need to start holding intergeneration dialogue, but also making sure that we present a paper that is suggesting recommendations on how we can disseminate information, especially on the policies. That's why I try to give out those key policies. So, Selina, I think you can be reading a bit. What is read a bit? You read something that Linda not out as we better our position paper.
It's okay.
Yeah.
So what I'm reading are the position paper, the views, the demands from the youth, the ones that we are writing down yesterday. So the first one is spaces for dialogue, consultation. The second one was our contribution is key. We are also experts in democracy issues. We are leaders of today, tomorrow, and tomorrow. Let's yearn to be in this planning, design spaces. If I'm reading too fast, you can just tell me to slow down. Take front position in demanding for democracy and justice. The other one is to the youth, civic engagements and awareness. Okay, sorry. Okay, civic engagement and awareness and education among ourselves. Increased participation of youths and women, and pushing for inclusion and equity in the form of challenging harmful norms. The other are recommendations to the youth and it matters women and youth democracy. So the other recommendation was make an extra step to
involved in decision making by attending public participation. The second one was be willing to take up leadership positions. The third one was be proactive in holding leaders accountable. Yeah. The other one was okay. So the other one was on the spaces whenever you can in capital letters. The other one is take your time to grow, but don't waste time. Ask questions, learn new things. The other one was demand for mental wellness to be accessible in the community. Freedom of speech. They should freedom of speech. Tasema they should allow us to call out the leaders and demand good leadership. Another request was for intergenerational dialogues. Okay, I'll just read this one out, but I think it's on the negative. Tokenism and using young people for gain. So the other one is youth should avoid colonial mentality and emphasize on changes from the ground. Okay, so I'll read the recommendations to policymakers. Have transition plans for young people to lead. Government to have transition plans for young people to lead. Take accountability in the laws, America in brackets abduction. Allow youth voices in decision-making processes. Okay, the other one is prioritize youth inclusion in decision-making through structured membership and youth councils. Prioritize youth inclusion in decision-making through structured membership and youth councils. The other one is intergenerational collaboration, where the youth are seen as equal contributors and not as inexperienced. Okay, the other one is expand access to civic and voter education that speak to the rights and realities of women and youth. Okay, the other one, ensure proper implementation of the existing policies involve youth and women in decision making. The other one is invest more funds in creation of awareness on civic education. Involve youth and women in decision making. Then invest more funds in creation of awareness on civic education. The other one is they should consider our opinions. What they agree should be put in action. So let's talk more action. Provide funding to support youth-led campaigns, and also a safe space for airing issues. Another one, they should consider our opinions. This one is a repetition of the other point. They should understand our concerns regarding what we want. The other one is to listen to youth and never discriminate their opinions and reduce the high cases of abduction. So the other one is the policy members should also keep in mind that the good policies are not only for the youth, but also them in a way. Good policies favor everyone in a way. The policy makers should move beyond tokenism and create real spaces where women and youth can meaningfully participate in decision making. This one is nice. So investing in young people is not a favor, it is a necessity. Create inclusive policies that reflect on youth voices. The other one is allow spaces to express themselves as stipulated by the law without being harassed by the state, being allowed to participate in reforms, laws, and policies. Policymakers should involve the youth in policy formulation, basically in the decision making. Policymakers should put into consideration the advice from the ground. What is the ground? For the Gen Z, they are the future. Let's stop sitting on the sidelines. Civic engagement isn't just voting. It's about asking questions. The last one, to formulate favorable policies. People living with people living with disabilities, inclusion of representation in their frameworks. Thank you.
Thank you, Sally. So can we really push any policy or any a suggestion to address this? In Kenya here we have Lumumba. I love to listen to him. He talks about issues to do with monetization of the election, especially in Africa, and tells us that in youth, as leaders go on telling people their manifestos, in Kenya and Uganda, we are giving them salt and asking salt. And he tells us that yes, the leaders resemble the community.
Can we add something in Kenya? I don't know if you captured. Like the reason why most youth in Kenya also don't vie for political seats is the fee required for you to pay to a nomination to a party for you to be a member of that party. You know, there's a fee you pay to the party, and also there's a fee you pay to the IEBC for you to get a nomination budget for you to be already if you are a politician. You see that fee you have to pay for the party, and that discourages youth or women from vying for.
I think also, Julius, I think that is also in but for a political party to join a political party to be a member,
You have to pay.
it is for free, but when you're aspiring for some position, that's when you pay for
But
a
in Kenya you
card.
pay.
Even to be a member?
Kenya you pay,
You pay.
then you have to pass the hiyo nimesema.
Yeah.
Ndio upatiwe certificate ya part
So for you to get that certificate, the nomination
nomination.
party, that certificate, it's so expensive, and that's why you see most of the youth are being locked out because they don't have that money to pay.
Yes.
They use that to eliminate.
Yeah.
NUP is it for free? Or
And if it's free,
NUP is free, the political party for Bobby Wine, it is for free.
Yes.
But I think other political parties, you need to pay for it.
oh, so.
And I think just to add on what Irina said, you see when you want to convince your voters, like when you're campaigning, you also need money. People will not buy your idea. They'll feel like you need to give them something that they can be able to eat so that they vote for you. So you can only be lucky if you only campaign with your bare mouth rather than dishing out money, then you win. Yeah, I think that is also another challenge for the youth.
Yeah, nomination day, we shall be intention here. Kenya also need let's say case. Then we have systematic barriers, of course. Now we have limited affirmative action. In Uganda, affirmative action for youth, we have structures for young people. They are there, but they are not substantive. In that those we vote as young people, they don't voice out concerns of young people. I don't know in Kenya, in terms of affirmative action, we have, for us, we have 5 youth MPs per region, east, west, we have youth MPs, we have central youth member of parliament, then we have also women member of parliament per district.
Okay, in Kenya, as you know, is the affirmative action is working because that's why we have the seat for women rep. At least the women that seats is brought up to that two candidates because most women are not elected, so that seat is that there for you. I think that's working. But what I know is when it comes to you, I think youth are being you have to belong in a political party. Okay,
Yes.
I'm not sure. For you to be a youth leader, you have to belong to a political party, of which this political party are biased. You find out wewe ulipigia mkubwa fulani, so they give you like you voted for someone, so they give you like they are returning. Kurudisha mkono ni
kurudisha tu mkono.
Bribes.
no, it's a
Return the favor. To return
Yeah, they are returning the
to tap
favor.
you at the back.
Yeah, in the end, they end up nominating the wrong people who has no people interest at heart.
True.
Yeah.
So that's end up like.
And you see that takes us to Iala. Who's the representative of Kenya in Iala? You know who he is?
Raila's daughter.
Raila's
daughter.
And
Kalonzo's son.
Yeah. So those are the prominent. And you see that Iala position from Kenya, it has been Odinga's business. The Odinga, because what is his name? Oburu Odinga has held that position for long. And then we have this other local people that their fathers are nobodies. And there is one of my classmates, when we went back to school, he also came back to school, but he came back for degree. So he had worked in Iana for long as a monitoring and evaluation officer. But they wanted to eliminate him. Because who is your father? Do you have money? I mean, how did you get here? So the guy was eliminated and they told him, because you do not have a degree, you cannot work in Iala. So the guy came back to Kenya very frustrated. And he's a Kenyan. And he came and met me in a counseling session. And I did my sessions. And then I asked him, what do you think you need to do to take away your pain and become a better person? Because you don't leave my room without telling me what you want to do to become a better person. He told me, I'm going to slap them with a master's. So the guy did a degree, and when he was waiting, and he got first class, you know, when he was waiting for graduation, he was already in class for master's. So when he graduated, they took him back. But the problem is the clientele that we serve, they do not have that opportunity to go back to school like that guy was able to. So where does that leave them? Poor every day. So they cannot access opportunities in politics. And you see that Iana business, it is hidden like many marijuana.
Okay, I got a chance to be part of IALA in the year 2022 when we were discussing the SRHR bill. And I'm telling you, in IALA that parliament, it's full of old people.
Very old.
And me being a Gen Z millennial,
Gen Y.
it was like an argumentative discussion. So until I remember one of the Kenyan person from Kenya telling me that we are not going to work out of Oye here. Because I was giving my suggestions.
We are not seeking pity here.
I was giving my suggestions, and I'm like, it's not out of Oye. I'm giving you this suggestion because I'm from the ground and I know why. What is happening there? You know, you're just sitting there. You work out of reports that you are being given, but I'm from the ground, and what I'm saying is what people from the ground want. And they told me, here in Yala, we don't work out of Oye.
It is not a pity panel.
It's not a pity panel. Yeah. That's another challenge, yeah.
So before you move down, Bwana Julia, there is this thing that is common more in Uganda than here. I've seen it happening to Besige, I've seen it happening to Bobby Wine, where we have issues of house arrest. Around the elections, you are locked, you cannot leave your home. Do we put it under systematic barriers or
Should be under election violence.
should be under election violence?
Yeah. I think we should be actually have that as a point here.
And you can't even go to church.
You can't go anywhere.
But it's like a house arrest.
Yes.
House arrest.
When you leave, they ask you where are you going.
Even you
That is
cannot
they call it
even have a
preventive-
chance to
preventive
access
arrest.
them, and
Dictatorship.
you tell them.
So they leave you 1 week after elections have been announced. So
I wish
you can-
Uganda can be
if you
so
have
Kenya so
other
that we
points-
teach them a lesson.
This is how we do it.
That can happen in
Yeah, I know this one has no filters. This is his friend. Same seven. This
Without
guy is
filters.
without filters.
No, he has grown up. He can see even the frames on the head.
So the person that took this photo is a Kenyan.
Yeah.
He's wanted.
I saw on X. I saw on X
He's
by the way.
wanted.
Oh, so normally the photos we see are doctors.
They are nini scanned.
Yeah, growing old is
Utatafutwa baba. Watatutafuta sisi bana. Watoto wadogo pale.
He's around, he said, I want those boys brought.
So
Here.
We also have issues to do with youth, and of course we are seen as inexperienced. Of course, that is for those in power. That's when we need a conversation with them to tell them how we are experts and we know the things.
Also, can we add some of systematic barriers to youth participation limited? Can we say, okay, I don't know how the beliefs that the community have that youth cannot lead, youth are not knowledgeable. How can we put that on?
Community perspectives.
And if the youth are seen as inexperienced and immature for leadership, how can we?
How can we put that on?
It is the assumption. I think yesterday there was a facilitator who talked about trust. It's just still on the same point, but there is an issue of where the youths are not trusted with power.
How can we put it? There?
I think it is it a myth or is it a misconception?
It's a stereotype. Where
It's a stereotype where like the elder people feel like they cannot trust a youth with power.
That's a mentality. It's not a stereotype. It is their mentality.
Yes, we need
It's a very bad mentality where they feel you're not. Amwezi, you cannot. So they feel they always have to be there. But the Gen Zs have told themselves.
If we have points, let's read per theme, then we see what we can add.
Okay.
Like if you go back, kindly go back to point number A. And this is in prose form. It's not in pointer form like the others, but all of us I feel like instead of moving up and down, we have to handle one area. Once we finish, we go to the next one. So all of us, we can read through and see if there is anything we have left. Because this is on election violence. Youths in countries often used as tools. We have another one during the protests. Okay, moving down there.
These are just case scenarios.
Yeah, case scenarios. I'm seeing what we can add before we go.
Maybe you could read Elijah.
Yes.
You read.
Okay.
And then we can see.
On election violence, youth in both countries are often used as tools for political violence rather than agents of peace. Case in point, in Uganda 2021 election, over 50 people, majorly youth, died during protests and military confrontations. In Kenya, in 2007-2008, post-election violence and detention during the 2017 elections left hundreds dead and thousands displaced. Now, because we are doing a very sensitive paper, and this is why I'm asking your guidance. Anytime we do such this is like an academic paper, do we need to cite our source?
References.
Yeah.
Yeah. If we say 50 people majorly, if it's in Uganda, you have somewhere where we can
Say according to
reference.
yes, according to maybe Julius, something like that. Then in Kenya also we have a lot of materials. We need to flesh it up so that our paper has weight.
With evidence.
With evidence. Whoever wants to verify, they can check.
Yeah.
Then the ongoing political unrest in Kenya, commonly known as maandamano, has left young people dead, some arrested and several injured. Youth are immobilized as foot soldiers in conflict, and they did not design and creating cycles of trauma. So again, this one also, from the recent studies, we can check and support it.
Okay.
We have children who have died. Some even were not even participating in the maandamano. Innocent people have been killed, and we support it. Then, apart from these election violence members, is there anything we feel has not been captured there?
Okay, I feel like the maandamano part should not be there because you see the topic is election violence. You're talking about election.
Yes, so we should stick to.
Yeah, we should stick to election because maandamano was not part of the election violence.
It is on something.
Okay, we
different.
also had an unrest in Kenya during the 2022
Was there?
election. We can, instead of speaking about maandamano, we can speak about the 2022. 2017 there was an arrest, yeah. So
every election violence,
yes.
in every election cycle, we have anxiety and people are living in fear.
Women are, you can speak of women being
violated,
yeah.
And you find that people move, there's a lot of movement from the urban areas to the rural areas.
Yes.
And that makes voters, some voters not vote because it is in the rural areas where they're supposed to vote. But they are moved back up country by their husbands, and the husbands would remain behind to vote. So that interferes with the number of people that would vote to bring about change.
And we say that as intimidation?
No, it's not. They are not being intimidated, but
There
insecurity.
is another way to look at it.
Because of the type of clashes.
You see this document? If you want to add some points, you go to so anything you need, you just type there. But at the end of the day, you will finish and then you will move another one. So you can just type
like that, but for him to give them
So I don't know about Uganda. Is a point Ellen Anani really was talking about. We have where election violence. We have where youths are used to beat people, display, to maim. But we have another one where agents disappear. Lydia, there was a gentleman in, was it in Embakasi East?
Yeah.
Or who disappeared up to today, we don't know where he is.
has never been found.
So agents or returning officers, if you don't accept
they come
to
back guy. The returning
Yeah,
officer.
they come back
No,
guy.
he was found
be,
dead.
was found
Yeah,
dead
he was found dead.
somewhere in
Yeah.
Masai Land.
Yes.
Yes. So if you can't be bribed,
Kajiado.
they
Yeah, I think
unalive you.
I think that it also happens in Uganda.
So what we do, we support our
Point.
points with justification.
Yeah.
We take like 2 examples in Uganda, 2 examples in Kenya, we add there. So we have the youths, we have where the agents disappear, and we can add like 2, while we try to have a balance between 2 countries. We have a case, we support it. In Uganda, we support it. In Kenya, we support it. Then we move to the next one. That way, it will be better, and I think through our leadership, you can assign us roles. We say that, Elijah, you will handle this part, look for these references, and maybe by Saturday, ensure you have
Today's Friday. right?
yes, submitted this. So whoever is compiling, if it's Julius or Helen, you have free time to then before you make the final document. Anything else, Cecilia?
We are talking about the situation of election violence in different parts of East Africa, Kenya and Uganda. To talk about Kenya's 2027, the current maandamano is not because of the problems that are in the country. There is deeper reasons that go down to 3 tribes in this country. The person that is supporting maandamano right now, funding it, is Gachagua.
I will cut you short. I always participate in Mandamana.
Nani?
No,
Irene.
Let
Irene.
her finish. Then
Irene, I think whatever I'm realizing is, when we deal like this, you always allow someone to finish, then you react. Because sometimes you can make whoever is speaking even lose the flow
Or
of.
forget the thoughts. So, the person that is supporting maandamano is Gachagua. Gachagua is supporting maandamano because he was kicked out of government. And he was the deputy, he was the second in command. At some point, in fact, there's a time we were making jokes and saying that Gachagua was a nobody. He became the deputy president. And when the president went for a meeting in the US, he took position as the president for a few weeks. So his glory came so quickly and he lost it so quickly. So he has anger around his position being taken away. It is right after he and the president started having issues and misunderstandings, yeah? And that is bound to happen in our country most of the time. It's just that the predecessor, what is his name? Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta had a patient heart. That's why he didn't kick Ruto out. But Ruto didn't have the patience. Instead, he kicked this other guy out and through an impeachment. Now, I am journeying towards 2027. Even when you hear people talk about 2027, I live in Kibra. If you hear how people talk, it's not gonna be good. 2027 was hot in this country because of one, the Kikuyu, the Kalenjins, and the Luos. You see those 3 tribes? When one of them, especially when the Kikuyu are on the other side, and the Kalenjins are on the other side, these are major tribes that when you talk about the history of this country and liberations and all, these 3 tribes, these other ones are just additions. And in terms of numbers, that's where we have more numbers voting. So the tyranny of numbers are mostly in the Kalenjin and in the mountain. Now, 2027 elections, we have to do something that we will preach about peace and help the people realize that Forget about tribe, there is only one tribe. And I will still quote the Gen Z who said we are tribeless. We only have one tribe, Kenya. That's the tribe that we have. So 2027, if nothing is done, if we feel that whatever people are saying is just tokens, I tell you for free, it's gonna cost us a lot. And our donors will ask us questions. We funded you so that you can help have civic education in the community. How come this is the impact that is coming in Kenya or in Uganda in the year 2026 and in 2027? Does it mean there is no impact? I don't know whether you guys are understanding me. To answer Irene, Maandamano is funded, Irene. Yeah? But we have a few innocent people that are in Maandamano.
A majority actually.
Yeah. Are in Maandamano. They do not know that there is money that is poured. And they are going there because they are genuine and they want to have change and they are portraying important points. Yeah? So, it is funded. But I do not know it is funded. Irene doesn't know it is funded. It is called forth, we go and have the Maandamano. But there are people who are given money to make sure that it happens. Yeah, that's how politics run in East Africa, and it's so sad because the ones that even go for that Maandamano, majority, some of them do not even have ID cards. They do not have ID cards. Like what happened in Kenya on the 25th, the ID cards that were found in Kamkunji is an area down, it's a sub-county, yeah? They were found in Kamkunji. If you look at the names, Njuguna, Mungai, Kamau, same names. It tells you that there's a fight between the Kalenjin and the Kikuyus. And when those two tribes are fighting, not good. If you go to the Rift Valley, in the year 2007, 2008, the people that lost their lives and property is the Kikuyus, who had bought land in the place of the Kalenjin. But in 2013, when the Kalenjins and the Kikuyus were eating from the same plate, it was peaceful. We could not go to the streets. So the bone of contention is between the Kalenjins and the Kikuyus.
Okay, can we now allow Nani to speak? Now this is your time. Lydia has finished. Now is your time.
Let me tell you something. I thank God for the small
Our projector
platform.
is
It's
sleeping.
okay. I don't need a projector. I thank God for the small platform God has given me to be at advocacy level. And I'm telling you the truth. You know, politics is a very dirty game. The politicians are the one making it looks like it's a tribal fight. If you ever see, have you ever seen the youth in TV? I'm telling you, the youth in Kenya, most of the youth who goes to the street is because they are tired. Youth in Kenya are tired of what is happening in Kenya. Number one, you know this, the youth of nowadays, the one we call Gen Z, there's a conflict, there's an intergenerational conflict between the Gen Z and the older generation. Where the older generation grew up knowing that how many two tribes have to lead Kenya? The Luos, the Luyas, you know the major tribes. That is a generation that is there. But the Gen Z and the few millennials, and majority of millennials, I don't know why we don't recognize the millennials from 19, when you hear free education. This is what we know. We have gone to school, we have learned, we have understood everything. You see our set books we are doing. What is happening here in Kenya is what we read also in set books. That is what is also being taught in schools. And I'll tell you, politicians, I did criminology and there's something we call political. Politicians are very clever. Do you know what politicians will do? They will make this look like a tribal fight. This is not a tribal fight. These are the liberation fight. And I'm telling you, I'm one of the people that will just sit in the house. But in Kikumbuka, there is the way we copper the money, the money is being brought in Kenya, and the way the money is being spent. And I will sit here in the table confidently and say that that's something. The youth are not even with that. The Gachagua party is very small. Youth are going to the street because we see what is happening. You take your mother to hospital, she has cancer, and they tell you your mother cannot be treated until you pay the full amount of SHA. You get out of that hospital mad. If you hear there's Mandamano tomorrow, you will not go. I take my mother to be my mother had a surgery, for example. For my mother to be treated, I had to pay 10,000 SHA first the whole year. I'm able to pay that 10,000. But there's a Kenyan youth who is not able to pay that 10,000. The pain is what is sending you to the street. You're saying there's affordable housing, yet the chief is the one controlling the affordable housing. Those people who are getting the affordable housing, majority are not from Mukuru. There's pain. You displace me and then you're not going to give me a house and you're telling me, I will confidently stand and argue that most youth don't go. We have been in speech with you, Helen, the last year. Did you see those youth? We were tear gassed until they sent live bullets. The next moment, do you know what they did? The next moment I just heard, hello, where are you guys? Youth were organizing themselves in town. I've been in town where we organize. We do this. Youth, this group, I live with your group, go to that side. When the police are this side, the others are at the end of the day, did we not submit the motion? We did. And no one was paying us. The only Mandamano I missed was the 25th Mandamano because my mom was sick in the house. And I can confidently say, what is happening? There are CSOs with the real Mandamano. There are CSOs who will like, you go to the Mandamano, we are going to provide you with water and t-shirts. What we are doing here was not done in our mom's era. You know, in our mom's era, they believed that a certain tribe Yetu, we are going with that tribe. And I'm telling you, I'm from the Rift Valley, Kapsabet. In 2007, I nearly lost my mom. Yeah, in 2007, our house was burnt down. My mom is a Luya. And in 2007, it was not Luyas and Kale that were fighting. It was Kale and Kikuyus. But because my mom was wearing a PNU leso. It was PNU. And my mom had tied a PNU leso. That led to our house being burnt down in 2007. I witnessed Mandamano here. We moved to Kapsabet in 1996. But in 2007 our house was burnt down with our neighbors just because of PNU. It's something people need to know. Saizi, there's a lot of intermarriages in Kenya. So the youth that are growing up now, the Gen Z that we are seeing, the Gen Alpha, are tribalist because my mom is a Luya, my dad is a Kisi. So you can't tell me you are going to fight a Kisi, yet my mom is a Kisi. And that is something the leaders don't want because the political leaders are the one making these things look like tribal. Have you ever heard of Activista? Activista. It's an Activista. Yeah. I'm a member of Activista, and I'm telling you, in our group we come in thousands because we realize it's only in numbers that we are going to hit the politician. Did you see where youths were fighting the goons? Can you be paid to fight a goon? You are not a goon. You are being sponsored by Gachagua. Can you fight a goon? The goons, the IDs that were found there are the IDs that are not collected. Because even collecting ID is a problem in Kenya. You go to collect their ID, they tell you are late. The IDs that were found from there, these are the IDs that are in the offices that are not collected. And because the politicians want to make these things look bad. Because let me tell you, the politician will never want to see a united nation. At the moment they see youth being united, the only thing they will do is, I don't sikatai that there are youth who are being sponsored to go there. And if you want to know there are youth who are being sponsored to go there, the same politicians, you see the same politicians who are in the power, are the one when you are the youth that were caught doing demonstration, when they were being beaten, what did they say? They are being paid by who? The ones in power. So the ones in power, the leaders in power will do, they will go, pay the youths, the few youths who are unemployed because of the same system that has messed the country. Go pay. You are hungry, you don't have food. Someone comes and pay you to go and distract Mandamano. Will you not go? So they are the one who will pay and make it look like, I don't differ that Gachagua. Maybe Gachagua is doing his part. But Gachagua has a very minimal say when it comes to you. And it's so wrong when we come and say that youth are ready to unite. And that's why I, being one of them, we are conducting civil education to our youth. No one is paying me to conduct civil education, but we are doing civil education because we want to educate our youth and tell them that we can do this, and it's only in numbers. Have you ever seen youth forcing the comedian? We are forcing comedian now. Mbona kwenye youth walikuwa na mass unfollowing of their celebrities because they did not participate in? Can someone pay you to? We did a mass unfollowing of our. Then on 25th, did you see not our celebrities taking part in Mandamano? Why? We boycott even Safaricom.
It's also the same thing in Uganda.
In Uganda,
where we unfollow, like there is a campaign to unfollow artists, but
yes,
also,
there's a campaign going on.
Yeah, but also
unfollow this, unfollow. Did you see when Nani tried to bribe the youths in Matanga huko kijana amekufa KK juzi? Si alifukuzwa? Huyo anaitwanga nani huyo?
KJ. Someone.
No,
AK
the guy was imitating Gachagua.
Si kuna si alikuwa ameenda Matanga alafu mtu wa spokesman wa nini anaitwanga nani?
Itumbi.
Itumbi. What did they do to Itumbi? They told Itumbi sit down. You can't come and tell us that the president is giving 2 million to the deceased family. Yes, this man has been struggling.
Okay, now Nani, Irene.
yeah.
Thank you very much for the reaction.
Yeah, Elijah, I think before you add on, I just want to give like to add on that like a scenario like it's the same thing in Uganda, like divide and rule. It's intentional.
Yeah, it is.
When there is a cause in Uganda, they say this is the Uganda cause because they are the majority. So the state wants to dissent violence on the specific tribe to say that this is an issue of Uganda. That's why it's just intentional. And I think when you look at Ruto is quite following the same thing. And if you're not keen, in 2027 it's going to be a tribal thing. That's why when you as young people, as a generation, when you identify a cause that this is beyond Kikuyu, it's beyond Maasai and what, this is a generational cause. The thing is, when the Maasai Kikuyu goes to the hospital and not drugs, it affects us all. But it reaches to an extent that the oppressed, we don't realize that. We also now start like, who is leading the cause is a Kikuyu, I will not join. Who is leading a cause, it's being funded by. So I think if you identify a mission, we need to fulfill it. No matter whether it's from which tribe, no matter from which tribe, but it's very hard, and that's why I love the issue that you are doing civic education to make people understand really exactly what's happening.
Okay, thank you, Irene and Julius. My question, it's not even a question, is that this is just one point. We should not exhaust everything here. We have 3 other themes that we'll tackle or we'll add on. And there is a point where we can speak. And again, there is now something we are going to write. Now here we can speak freely. Yeah. But now when we write something there, the question is, can we defend it? Yes, we can. Yeah. Can we justify it? Yes. What are our sources? Because I think we are still growing. Julius and Helen, do we have a lawyer? No. We haven't reached there.
No, the teams have lawyers, but I don't have a background of law.
You have a background,
but within our team, we have.
What I'm saying is that we don't want to publish our work.
Will present himself.
Once we have published our work, then they say these circles of hope, you've been summoned. Come and defend what you wrote.
We can get them.
We can get them.
Yes.
Then we can shoot.
But I think if you have the reference,
we need to air and speak freely. But when you go to write, let's write something we can defend without even a lawyer. Our work can defend itself. That is my point. So Lydia, Irene, your points are valid. Let's see how we can summarize them. Then we give the convener to capture them there. And before we close that area, we need to see if there is anything we have left out before we go to option B. This way, I think we are making it more fleshed up than how it was before. There are other things I'll not discuss these. I'll just give you a note so because of time.
I'm also thinking that we give them, not them. I'm thinking that we are going to opt out an activity to have this paper discussed online. These people as technical, all of us, we are technical people. We also invite some key stakeholders like the policymakers.
Yes.
We have some conversations with the people at the regional level. We invite them and technically discuss this paper. That's what I'm thinking. Yeah, so that we note a bit. So as you said, we just say, Team Kenya is going to give context and evidence to examples, of course, with data and support. I'm going to create the Google Doc.
Yeah.
Where we are all invited.
Then on the Google Doc, we can, wherever you are, you
can push in and
you support, you contribute. Yeah. But if I like contributing something there, I have to have already done the work of finding the reference material so that I don't have to give you. True. Then you have to go and look for another man to verify whether my source is legit or not. Yeah. And I flash it there. So wherever, if you're in Kampala, I'm here in Naivasha, where that thing is live. Everyone is put at your convenience. It can be at night, but I urge us that we try to make it so we have to make it original so that it doesn't give us more work in the future.
Yeah, that's why maybe when we come, we need to capture our names. For us who are here, we have that working Google Doc, so that we pen sheets, we work on it. But I suggest that we could maybe have anything that we've left, so that I can just be noting them. When we got the working doc, of course, evidence, reference, and everything will be captured. Then we have an online Zoom meeting with some technical people, also policymakers, and we extensively also discuss it.
So for their points, we can even use, we can Google, we have phones and whatever. Irene and Lydia have touched on ethnic and tribal divisions. Even the speaker yesterday, I think the one was talking about laws. You remember when he said that someone goes and sends a text to other people, he says people are converging. You go there, then he takes the same text, so those divisions are there. Ethnic and tribal divisions. We have youth unemployment. It can be used because we have said after that they are used to cause. If someone has no money and you give them 500 to go and vandalize,
it happened recently. Did you see them? Yes. The ones of NRM. I think that was the time, Julius, that was the time when Museveni was going to get the card. So he got youths. I think they loaded over them on 12 buses, and they gave them Kenya shillings. That is how much. It cannot even reach 500. That's it.
Very
I think 200. Each one of them, and those people caused chaos within the city. And when the police, of course, they had to put them on media. If they hadn't put them on media, no one would be concerned. But there are these people who had to put their videos on media. So when they had to put them, that is when he woke up, he was like, these people, I don't know them. And the youths, they were like, they came to us when our gate was doing our own things because they are unemployed. They gave them the shirts to put on, the yellow shirts with that little money. We go. After that, when they appeared in court, these people were like, we don't know them.
We've never seen them.
We have never seen them.
Another one is disinformation and hate speech. Another point. You disinform people, and the use of hate speech is there. We have weak electoral institutions. Finish typing that.
What do you mean when you say weak electoral institution?
Weak electoral institution, it means they are easily influenced.
Then I don't think it's weak. Our electoral, it's strong, but it's the person. You know, if you say electrical institutions, the problem is not the institution, because the institution is governed under the law. I think the problem is the person.
But if it's the person,
So we cannot
you cannot,
person.
if the institution is strong, it cannot be influenced.
The context of Uganda. Recently, NRM has conducted their party in power. But electoral commission literally see that they don't hold power.
They don't have.
They have been about this type of thing, and when the elections complain, they say after 2 days people have died. They are saying elections were fair and fair, but on the ground it is a totally different thing.
Do you think, what if we say our electoral institutions are not free and fair because okay, it's the same thing with the judiciary.
Mhm.
We know our judiciary is supposed to be free, fair from anything, but you get it has the influence of our leader, and our leaders, our political leaders are the one influencing decisions made by even our judges.
So how can we
I
capture
think
it to
by
get
saying weak electrical institution, I don't think I think they can try to look for another word to replace the word weak. I don't think
maybe we can say that they're not independent enough.
yeah,
as a
our
institution.
they're not independent.
they are supposed to be independent
but they are
bodies,
not
but they are
independent.
influenced.
Yeah.
Yeah, influence. So maybe we can say government. Is it government
Interference.
Yeah.
The independence of our institutions.
There is interference to the independence of
Independence.
Because even if you look at the appointment of the CEO, the chairman of IBC.
How long has it taken, like in Kenya?
You see, even it had a problem. Even the Kenyans were not okay with the nomination
Process.
process. But you see, because of the influence, he was just.
And still, even we're still having problems.
So here I will give scenarios of what has happened.
Yes, we now with those points, we go and make them heavy with justification. In Uganda, we have long-standing authoritarian rule, that is obvious. Military involvement is there. Opposition suppression. Now that's where now mostly where there are things like house arrest, it is there. I saw military involvement in politics. By the way, these are not my points. I've just googled on DeepSeek.
Can we?
There are around 8 points.
Military involvement in election process. Can we put it the country? Because I don't.
We'll put it in Uganda.
And then you can put it in Uganda.
Because
in Kenya,
Julius was saying that you go to vote.
Yeah.
And one person is surrounded by 5 soldiers. You go to the booth.
They have elections where they had to beat the journalists, the people themselves, even the people, they feared to vote. You get? Are they going to repeat that even?
Yeah, but also right now.
Can we say something on that? You have just said that something to do with the media. You know, the media is supposed to give us what is going on through election, but if there's interference of the media, then you can't.
So you see now the point where Helen was saying, okay, we have the independence. Okay, we have lack of independence, then we have interference. Like now with the media, the point for media would be interference.
Yeah,
you remember we talk about blackouts, we talk about censoring of information.
Yeah.
Televisions don't work, internet is blocked. Just put.
We have freedom of the press.
Yeah.
There's lack of
It's censored.
Freedom of the press. Yeah.
I think that can stand as its own.
Yeah.
It's okay.
How can I frame it?
Give us English idea.
The media.
We have capture it in a way that we have media.
Media operation.
We have communication. Then is it communication? Because we normally have like an authority for communications and one authority where media, IT, everything falls there.
You saw what was that?
Yeah.
The media and internal authority went to KTN and switched off.
Yes. Media interference during the elections, right?
Media interference by the state. Then is it media and information? We'll see the way.
No, when you say media, we will cover
everything,
soft,
print, everything.
This is more of applicable to Uganda. I don't know you people.
It
Up to now,
applies here.
our Facebook is locked, so
You can't use.
Yeah.
except when you have VPN.
It is not accepted in Uganda. And people use it. Even the upper people, they use it.
It is?
Yes. But it is not.
And you guys are quiet.
Because the upper body uses it now.
A VPN can help.
I saw in Tanzania Twitter X. There's sometimes back where X was being.
Okay. Ellen, is it in order that point?
Which one?
The one you are talking about, the media. Have you finished?
Oh.
Okay, you put it as a separate point.
Yeah, that's my point. Where we'll give.
Then up there in election violence, we have opposition suppression.
Doesn't that come to opposition arrest of opposition? Doesn't that include everything?
Okay.
Maybe
if you've captured it, then we don't have to.
opposition suppression, then we have our arrest and giving
Everything.
Yeah.
Even even is it, how do you call it? The arrests where you just arrested and there is nothing.
Then you're gonna do preventive arrest, right? They are preventing them.
They anticipate what you do. Preemptive arrest. Okay. Yeah. Now I think we finished that. All those points were up, when we discuss them well, they flesh up that theme to be very.
Now, monetization of elections.
Monetization. First of all, I don't know if this is monetization or what, but we'll talk about the costs. I think the Kenyan's election, I think they are the most expensive, if not in the world, in Africa.
And Uganda?
How much did you use last election?
The report indicated that for you to run for a constituency, member of parliament, you could use between 500 million to 800. Just the base, the minimum, but they tell you in your absence that you spend 1 billion, 1.2. But these are just reports that give basic.
Because they
They
don't
say-
give even the right information.
For 2022, because we have an aspect where people are given money to vote, but now we are talking about the electoral body, how it can use. When you compare to Kenya, Ghana, in Africa, that is cost. I think Kenya tops, followed by Ghana, then Nigeria, then Uganda, then Tanzania, then Rwanda. And we used
No, your election is too expensive.
it was 44 billion. That is 44 billion Kenyan shillings. 177,960,285. That was for Kenya. You can check. And this one is going to be higher. Yet, when we do that, our hospitals don't have syringes.
Yeah. So could you permit that? I think we hear more evidence and more references will be submitted online.
Yeah, there are evidence. You can check.
Yeah. Then also systematic barriers to participation, where we pointed out limited affirmative action, the unsubstantive, emphasized that young people cannot be good leaders, lack of information, voter apathy. Basically, maybe if you have any other point to add on that before we move to
Let me see. Water apathy. I think this is where we talk about is it opposition suppression? We mention it somewhere, but it can still come there as a systematic barrier. It used to happen during moist time. You campaign all the night, but in the morning you check your line. Everyone has gone to the other when you are using Mlolongo method. Okay.
I think that we noted separation of movement.
Yeah, it is captured.
Then limited forums for dialogue and policy influence.
Limited forum. Limited forums.
Where I think that one we captured it even was more closely came out when we went together convening when we had it at Mathalia and so young people also voiced out that was a real concern. They have forums especially for consultation, like not consulted, builds up past policies when young people don't have their intake. So that was too critical.
Limited can stand the way it is. There is a point you had added. Was it on media?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. You can put it separate. Now I think we can discuss something. We will discuss it in the call them what?
Yeah, on the agenda, we have another item that's on the agenda?
For today?
I don't want to stand between lunch and...
No, we'll finish with this and then we forward.
So these are youth demands and position. Of course, they will be our what we want.
Yes.
People want. Inclusive and safe elections, enforcement of non-violence pacts among political actors, training and engagement of youth peace ambassadors, protection of digital and physical spaces for political expression. I think Momo will be putting in more inputs here and there to see that we better them with actually evidence. I could dare say that if we can, at each point we give our learning as this project. No? It could be an online space, it could be a convening there. We give a that scenario. It could come out closely that we not even rely on people's research and because we already have so those will be compliments. Yeah. Demonetization of politics. This could be us maybe pushing or enact enforce campaign financing laws to cap spending, increase public financing support for youth candidates, criminalize vote buying and patronage more decisively. That is, Elijah, would you talk about monetization? What could be, I mean, this is the solution, but...
Okay, on monetization, I also say the political party to lower the
nomination fees.
Yeah, the nomination fees.
Okay. Apart from nomination fees, there is also a part where we need to I see in the developed world, people contribute for you to buy. Like most even American presidents, people contribute.
Like what the diaspora team is doing for what is his name? Fred
Yes.
The diaspora.
Even most of the but is it applicable for society like maybe Uganda where you are going to people spend the day without having a meal?
Our problem, our African problem is you get more of donors who they'll give you money, but once you're in power, you give them tenders. You give. They can do a lot of things with impunity, but now how do you? If Helen gave me 20 billion, even if he's killing people and dumping nuclear waste somewhere, there is no way I'll take her to justice because she, I'm indebted to her. So that's why we talk about when you're mentioning about interference to the independent bodies. You see, like in developed countries, the justice system is very strong. Presidents come and go and they hold you accountable. In Malaysia, Singapore, those tiger countries. But for us here, you find that the president controls the judiciary, he controls everything. Now it becomes very hard. All these bodies have to go and beg to go to the State House before they can do what they... So we need to introduce something to demonetize, to do campaigns, and to have platforms where all the money that has been maybe contributed to these people is like their accounts can be audited. If you are going to spend 40 million for let me say campaigns, the masses can check the source of where you got that money, and it will reduce a lot of problems.
Who audits? Isn't the government? Also, in Uganda, the government is always
is the auditor, is everything.
The auditor, they don't publish the report.
The Kenyan law in the state the mandate to check, like if you use certain amount of money,
Yeah.
they have to come and check where is the source of your money. That is there. The law states clearly. You see, the law that even protects how much you should use during the election is there. But now the problem comes to who do you even have in us sitting the
ESCC.
Because there was even a time when the public was complaining the amount of money people used for campaign. But when the ESC was told to go check on it, if you can Google it, see, they said that they found insufficient. So there is law that in Kenya there's a law that regulates how much someone must use when campaigning. But at the end of the day,
They
most
don't
of our
follow
politicians
that.
they suppress it.
Yeah.
But the body that is being mandated to control that, it's also corrupt on itself.
Yeah.
You see now? So it's, I think we should look on how are we going. The problem should, you see, all of these solutions we're bringing out are there.
Yeah.
But now, I think what we should do is
Implementation.
how are we going to, what can we do so that this law that's out there is being implemented?
Even yesterday, there is one of us who talked about when people are campaigning, there are people who come with policies. You can have a very good blueprint, and your colleague will be across the corner with money. You will speak, finish, but at the end of the day, they'll ask you, what do you have for us? If your pockets are empty, the one with money will get all the votes. So our duty is to sensitize the people, what we are doing right now, on the importance of voting in people who have vision, who have clear policies on how they can transform people's lives. And that's what's making, because the politicians have realized that as long as you have money, you are good to go. So they don't care about, they'll just lie, give money, and we go. But if we start voting in people with integrity, who have clear map for us, that's the change that we'll get, and it will help this problem to grow.
You know, there's an ongoing campaign now where in Kenya, that's where we are. You know, this is the first time most of the Gen Zs will vote for the first time.
Yes.
Most of them know. They want to vote for 2000 and about below. So there's an ongoing campaign where there's mass, where we are trying to mobilize them to have an ID, and also we are trying to do something called civic education. So because you know most of the, there's something that's going on where we're saying that we want to vote to an extent that if our parents vote wrongly, because we are many, we have made the right choice. Because you know it's so hard, it's so easy to influence the older generation
to the youths.
Okay, I think time. Helen, have you captured some key things Linda that was reading here?
Yes.
I want also to capture those things.
What I've captured?
You can you read a bit? You want also those three things beside that when you meet online, we could remove, we could edit where possible.
So for the paper, we have most of them I think we've captured already. But here what we need to add is take front position in demanding for justice, the day-to-day positions in demanding for justice. And then civic engagement and awareness, the need for us to have engagement. Increase participation of youth and women in pushing for inclusion and equality. Make an extra step to participate in decision making, basically it's repetition, so I'm not doing it again. Be proactive in holding leaders accountable. So there we can add an aspect of accountability, which I think Elijah just mentioned in one of his points. And then taking a position in leadership roles, basically repetition, on the spaces whenever you go. Basically, it's more of for us, not for the position paper. Take time to grow, but don't waste time. Ask questions and learn new things. It's us again, it's ours, not for the position paper. Demand for mutual wellness, for mental wellness to be able to access in the community. Don't get it so well, but basically it's on mental health. For us again, not for the position paper. Freedom of speech, being allowed to call out leaders, more or less accountability once again. And then intergenerational dialogue, more or less for us again, not for the position paper. And then tokenism and using youth for personal gain, monetarization, it falls under political monetarization. And then youth should avoid colonial mindset. Basically, what was captured for the position paper, what I'm getting, is for us as youth, recommendation for us, not for the position paper. Yeah. So I've not had to repeat it again in the points that I'm putting.
I think that is great. I think colleagues, you allow, I think after this, send me those mails of us
all of
who
us.
have been here.
Yes.
We start that working document.
Okay. In fact,
I will post it there, so that when you have time, you go through. Then we will have to omit out some 1 or 2 activity, online ones, so that we put it here, discuss this paper with some leaders.
Okay.
Yeah, and technical people. It will be too good.
So in fact, what I'm going to do it right away. Let me write us an email, technical team, just to say hello, so that we can have all our email addresses. Then you'll put it as a what
No,
document?
just come,
Live document.
get a picture of it on a paper and send me. Because here, just invite, right, and invite you.
A picture of what?
Email down, we text you now, so that you get.
No, that would be too much
Take a
work.
picture with the mail and send it. Because I got a document and I invite you, right? Just mail and I invite you. It's as simple as that. Take a picture of the mails. Have you registered?
Of the emails.
Yeah.
And then
And send it to me.
to our WhatsApp.
Yeah.
I think what I'm saying is easy. I have all your email addresses.
So can you-
I send you one email address for all of us.
Helen, do you have my email?
Yes, I do. Or don't I have her email?
You don't.
I don't.
You see the link of the photos that was sent to you? Attach everyone's mail, then I sent it. So if Julius wants it, you can just pick it from the address.
Yes, you can close.
Okay.
When are we expecting this?
Gloria.
As
Gloria,
soon as I receive the news, probably tomorrow they will be ready.